Jeffrey's down bad. You can already imagine how he starts his day. Grabbing his phone, fapping here, fapping there, fapping everywhere, even on his wall, Jeffrey. That's disgusting. Now, Jeffrey knows what he's doing wrong. Of course he does. But there's still 5 habits that he's doing which he doesn't realize are secretly harming his life. If he knew about these 5 habits, he'd be able to take control and change everything and finally speak to his crush and ask her out, and she'd say yes, but he does not know about the 5 dangerous habits that's secretly ruining his life, and so Jeffrey stays down bad, stuck in a rut forever. Adonis isn't down bad, he's up good. Adonis wasn't always the king of self-improvement. He struggled in his earlier days too. But one day he read a secret passage in a secret book that enlightened him into the habits that were keeping him weak. Once he realized the truth, he was able to overcome this and reach his potential. The first habit that's secretly ruining your life is being the seducer. You are trying to seduce women. That's why you think about girls all the time. You obsess over the girl that's in your DMs or your WhatsApp right now, and you're wondering when she'll text you back, and your happiness and your sense of fulfillment hinges on her. That's very feminine, and it will sap so much of your potential living like this. You see, men are supposed to be conquerors, missionaries, soldiers, hunters. We're supposed to be focused on some kind of goal, some mission, some work. It's a woman's job to be the seducer, to be like the sex icon, to be the goddess. Women don't really act like that anymore. That's what you're thinking, right? The truth is, women are still the seducers, but as they've always been, they are the seducers for the top tier men. So you need to decide right now as a young man how you want to live your life. Option number 1, become a top tier man who's focused on his masculine purpose, his mission, his vision for the world, and the impact that he wants to create for himself and his people. When you live like that, there'll be women who will come after you and actually try to get you. They'll step into their feminine role of making themselves as attractive as possible for you. They will seduce you. Option number 2, the girl is the one who's dedicated herself to the masculine purpose and mission. She's career-minded, she's focused on her studies, and then you're the one putting on the lingerie and the lipstick to try and seduce her. Even though that sounds like a silly example of 2 different options, most young men these days are choosing option 2. When you see the state of young men these days, I'm embarrassed to be from this generation. The generation of guys who are pouting in the mirror, doing like their cute little hair routine, blow drying their hair, and making themselves look all pretty and sexy, and taking pictures, pouting their lips, doing little TikTok dances and shit. This is the state of most guys, and they behave like this because they are trying to seduce women. They don't actually realize it, and you've not realized it, but the women you're trying to seduce in your life are usually more masculine than you are, right? How often have you had it where you've texted a girl to try and meet, to hang out or go for a date, and she tells you something like, oh no, I'm busy studying, I'm working, oh I can't, I'm busy. You're in the feminine, prioritizing love, relationships, and intimacy, and she's in the masculine, prioritizing work. So let me just ask you a nice question. Are you a bitch? Are you an actual bitch of a man that you will literally put yourself into the feminine? Because now that I've explained this, you're probably feeling pretty grossed out that this is how you've lived your life, right? There's masculine guys that you look up to who focus on their work, their tribe, the people that they want to help, and they still get girls. That's the thing. Either way, you'll get girls, right? Whether you're the seducer or the masculine, purposeful destroyer. Either way, you can attract girls. But I want to ask you, which life do you want to live? The life where you're pursuing your goals like this masculine guy who's dedicated and disciplined, and then you have like your woman by the side who supports your dream, and with her love and her inspiration and her support, you're able to accomplish even more? Or do you want to be like the partner, like the cheerleader by the side, helping your woman achieve her goals? And some cute dorks will say like, I want both. It can be both. We can both achieve our goals. No. There is a polarity in relationships. There is one person who's more masculine. There's one person who's more feminine. There is one person who cares more about the relationship, the love, the flow of intimacy, and that's the feminine person. Now, if you are thinking more about this girl and how to seduce her, if you're asking for advice on your hair, you are in the feminine seducer archetype, and that's why you overthink so much. Like, if I ask you, is it pleasant being like this? Like, is it a nice experience wondering why she hasn't texted you back? Fuck no. You don't actually want to be like that. You've just never been told that there's other options available to you. And the option is to become a man, to choose a big goal that would help not only you, but your family and your loved ones. Some kind of work. It can be to make money. It can be to create some kind of difference in your society, to help people from your country. Something huge that you can put your mind to, that you can grind. Focus on that. And the beautiful thing with this is then women will literally come after you and they'll support you on this journey. Whilst you're focused on this mission, they're focused on you. The habit of being the seducer has honestly throttled my own potential. Like, I can tell you months and months, even years of my life that I have spent like obsessed over girls, wondering why she hasn't texted me back, wondering how to get this girl, wanting to fuck this girl and this and this and this. And all of it is just instant gratification. You can cope and say like, oh, but it's love. But either way, if you're not acting as the masculine person in the relationship, your life quality is gonna fucking suck. You don't want to be the feminine guy in the relationship. So don't be the seducer. What does this practically look like? You set a big goal and you align as much of your life as possible to that goal. And you stop worrying about things that don't help you in that goal. So every day I see posts, like I have a big self-improvement community. It's the top link if you want to join, right? Every day I see like the new generation of guys embarrassing themselves, asking for methods on how to make their hair look cuter. And I understand why, because it seems like your appearance and your hair is really important. And it is in some ways. But the problem is the girls that you attract when you are becoming like this feminine person who's caring about his hair and everything, the girls you attract like that are naturally more masculine, and you're putting yourself into the feminine position, which you probably don't want to be. So stop being the seducer and start focusing more on the big mission that you can set yourself. If you don't know what the mission is, just think of a way, like some kind of big accomplishment that you'd have to grind for that would help people that you love. So it might be a way to make money, it might be a business, it might be to become an athlete, like a world-class champion athlete. It might be some goal that means a lot to you. It might be building a fucking school in the country that you were born. It might be helping people in your society. It might be getting into the politics. Who knows? But there's a mission that you could dedicate yourself to. And that's what will help you attract a woman who sees that masculine zest inside of you. Now, the second dangerous habit that's secretly ruining your life is speaking like a wuss, being a soft-spoken guy. I have experimented for the last like year or so, stepping more into spirituality and not playing the same game as I once was, where you like kind of, you're sat there with the body language and you've deepened your voice and everything, that kind of self-improvement, red pill kind of stuff, right? And I'm going to tell you the absolute truth. It was a mistake. People actually treat you exactly how you expect they'll treat you, right? So, how the advice is always like, yeah, have good body language, talk with a deeper voice, be more assertive. When you give those things up and you become more comfortable and just be yourself, I've noticed people disrespect me more. I've noticed people talk over me more. I noticed for the period where I stopped caring about like body language and deep voice and everything, that people started to disrespect me more. People started to speak over me more. People started to make more funny jokes about me more. When I step back into, as I am now, like the deeper voice, where you're manually thinking about, oh yeah, make sure your voice is more commanding, you're speaking better, you're standing up a bit straighter, you're thinking about the way you're presenting yourself to people. People treat you better. You get better treatment everywhere you go, whether it's on a train or a new gym, wherever it is. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to start speaking like an asshole and to be offensive to people, but don't speak like a soft, little, timid, low testosterone boy. Now, you also don't need to fake a really deep voice and, so it sounds inauthentic and it sounds a bit cringe, but you'll notice that there's like multiple versions of your real voice that comes out. Sometimes your voice is a bit more deeper, it's a bit more short and commanding. Other times you kind of blab on, you talk too fast, you talk with a higher pitch, you talk without breaks, you just speak and you talk, faster, and you talk like this, right? You're a really excited, giggly little boy. And that can be fine if you're with people who are respectful. The truth is, a lot of people will treat you worse when you talk like that. It was one of the brutal truths I learned recently. Like, I thought, you know what? I'm gonna be completely authentic and I'm not gonna care about my body language, my voice or anything. I'm just gonna let those things come naturally. And I noticed people genuinely treated me worse. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. If this is slightly inauthentic that I'm purposefully thinking, yeah, present yourself in a good way, then fuck it. I think a little bit of inauthenticity where you're purposefully presenting yourself in a nicer way is actually important. Because also there's a reason why you don't fart or burp on a date or at dinner with people, right? Because you're presenting yourself in in a non-gross way. So the same way that you wouldn't fart or burp at dinner time, you might also want to sit up a bit straighter and hold people's eye contact because it has a good impact and it results in the thing that you want, which is more respect from people. Then the third dangerous habit that's linked to that one is poor body language. Now you hear this all the time in all these like self-improvement videos. And again, this was one of the things I experimented with. I started to just kind of stand how I wanted, not sit up straight, not really hold people's eye contact. And I could absolutely feel the difference in how much less respect I was getting from people. So now I have to retrain myself to stand up, tall, chest out, to look like a strong young man, to hold people's eye contact. And one of the things I'll tell you is since I stopped doing this for a long time and I've recently started again, it's actually a skill and it's been fairly difficult for me to hold like people's eye contact again, to be able to, stand up straight, because it's like a skill you have to remember to do, right? So I basically trained myself to stop thinking about body language, and it didn't serve me. It actually serves you to have that confident looking body language. Don't overlook something like that. The fourth dangerous habit that's secretly ruining your life is what you eat. If you're eating the pinnacle diet for humans, which is basically just meat, full stop. If you want to add some fruit, some vegetables, fine. But basically, mostly meat, which you probably think is crazy. I am adamant that the real diet for humans that causes no health problems is just meat. You can call me crazy. We'll see what happens in a few years when more and more research is coming about this and more influencers and more people are coming to the internet to tell their stories of what's called the carnivore diet. But you don't have to go on a diet that strict. So basically just meat, right? We're not talking about meat with some carbs, some whatever. We're talking meat. Like your plate literally has a steak on it, nothing else. Then your next plate at the next meal has a steak on it and maybe some eggs, and that's it. Now you don't have to go that strict. You can add in some other healthy natural things like vegetables and fruits. Okay, sweet. But the problem is most people are eating weird chemical protein bars and sweeties and like the food that you get from restaurants where they put weird seed oils and like, just weird ingredients inside of everything that we eat. A lot of things are ultra processed. Like if you buy a McDonald's burger and you leave it out, nothing will eat it. Insects won't eat it. They literally, like insects, bacteria, mold, won't even eat it because it's not real food, right? Maybe that's like our definition of what real food is. Real food, if you leave it outside, it will rot because it will be eaten by animals and insects and bacteria and mold and that kind of stuff. Like it will rot. If you leave McDonald's outside, nothing will eat it. Think about how weird that is, that nothing is stupid enough to eat fake food other than humans. When you eat this fake food, there's two things that are happening. Number one, you're getting brain fog. So that's where you can't think clearly. And if you've never been on the keto or the carnivore diet before, you might not have ever experienced what it's like to have zero brain fog. I urge you, even though it sounds crazy for me to say this and people hate on me when I say this shit, I don't give a fuck. I urge you for just 2 days, 3 days, go on either a keto diet or the carnivore diet. That's where you basically will just eat meat. So for like an entire day, you'll have like 4 steaks. That's it. Nothing else. See what happens. I know it sounds kind of scary and crazy. I guarantee it will feel like you meditated for 4 hours that day. You'll be reading a book and you will not get any mind wandering at all. You will literally just be focused. It's incredible. It is so amazing. When you have an experience what life is like when you're on one of these diets, you've always had this low level of brain fog where, sometimes you used to be in school and the teacher was teaching and you'd randomly think about like the video game or the girl or something. That doesn't happen and it shouldn't happen when you're on a clean diet. So when you're eating fake food, you won't be able to focus as much, which is huge for your relationships, for learning, for working. But the other thing with fake food is that it's pumped often full of sugar and things that will spike your insulin. Insulin is like kind of like the bad hormone that we don't want. That's a very big simplification. But it's basically the hormone that when it increases, fat production in our bodies starts. So if we have an insulin spike, that's when we're becoming fat. That's also when we get those energy dips and you start to feel tired. You don't want that. And so these modern day foods, sweeties, chocolates, high sugar, causes that massive spike in insulin, which then makes you feel kind of tired through the day. You don't feel like that zestful, unlimited energy that a young man should feel. And you start feeling just mentally and physically tired. And the final dangerous habit that's secretly ruining your life is just neediness. So this one specifically with other people. When you act needy, you're basically showing to people that your life isn't good enough without them in it. That's very unattractive. People only want to enter the life of someone who has a vibrant, healthy life, right? For example, this is one of the brutal fundamental truths of attracting women. And all women literally lack so much self-awareness because they'll all lie here or they just don't even know it. All women are attracted to the guy who acts like he has women in his life already. Now, basically no women will actually tell you that, right? Imagine if you ask a girl, are you attracted to a guy who's fucking girls already? They'll all say no, but they are. They absolutely are. What a woman says she wants and what she actually wants is completely different. Women will be more into you if either you're already getting girls or you just fake it and act like you are getting girls. So basically you're not acting needy anymore. The same is true with making friends and even getting a potential mentor. You've got to act like you're coming from a place of abundance. Even if you don't have that abundance, you've just got to act like it. The person who acts needy never gets the thing that he needs. And that's even true with things like money. Like the guy who's desperately trying to make money never makes money, but the guy who doesn't give a shit about money, just like a guy who doesn't really care about the girl, often gets so many fucking girls. The guy who doesn't care about money keeps making more. You think these rich motherfuckers who have got millions and billions, you think they're sat there like needing more money? To them, it's like just numbers on a fucking page and they just press a few buttons, send a few texts, and they've just made another couple million. It's like that easy. When you aren't needy, more people give you money. More people want to be friends with you. More girls want to be with you. So if you are needy, that's a dangerous habit that's ruining your life. How do you stop being needy? You basically just pretend like you have the thing that you want already. Pretend like you've got girls in your life already. Pretend like you've got money already. Pretend like you've got subscribers and followers and friends already. The top link in the description will take you to that self-improvement community. You can go there right now, subscribe to this channel, do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah!